Hello, YouTube, and I am Raven. I am here with Lily, Danny, and Mika. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Today we are going to discuss movies for Topic Tuesday. Very big part of today's culture, and just movies. It's great. What do you guys think? Just movies.
Ant-Man should have gone up his ass.
What? What?
Did you not? Oh my god, it was the whole meme about Thanos being unkillable, and that they thought the solution was Ant-Man should crawl up his ass and expand. And that's how they would kill him.
Which would actually be, which I find is hilarious because that would actually be impossible, as the Infinity Stones make the wearer omniscient.
Yeah, but it's funny to think about it. So
the only reason you can beat Thanos is because after getting the stones, he realizes what the universe will be. He already knew the Avengers were going to come and attack him. Like, he can see the future. He already knows everything. So beating Thanos is literally just, yeah, I'm bored now, kick my ass, come on.
okay, well, I was just laughing at the fact of like Ant-Man crawling up his butt and expanding. Like, okay.
Great start, you guys.
Hell yeah.
This is like the mattress situation all over again.
Oh my god, will you drop the mattress?
I will, straight down your throat.
What about the?
Why the moons of pleasure?
No, those were of annoyance.
What
Jeez.
about the Harry Potter movies?
They're great. They're good fun to watch.
Have I hit a nerve?
You get to watch a man third wheel for 7 movies, and it's great.
That is true. It's perfect. Both Ron and Harry get cucked through the entire series.
It's great.
But
And then everyone has a mutual hatred of that jackass Malfoy, and it's great.
I actually like
Potter!
Potter. My father will hear of this. It's funny when a Brit tries to do an American doing a British accent. My father will hear of this. But I love the cast of those movies. Those movies were perfectly cast. The books, however, are terribly written.
They're not bad. They're definitely not the worst out there, but they're not the best.
Well, I mean, they're
what makes me laugh
children's
is
books.
I was at a geek quiz, right? And one of the questions was, what position did Ron try for? And I was like, in credits, I'm like, oh, well, he went for defender. And then it was like keeper, and I'm like, it has 2 names in the book because J.K. Rowling is an inconsistent writer, and I've read both publishings of those books.
Yeah, but do you see how much money she raked in? It doesn't matter that she couldn't remember the names for things. She raked in so much money.
Think of the writer who did. Think of the writer who did 50 Shades of Grey. You have any idea how much money she raked in?
Yeah, but that was
tame.
from, and the films as well. But that's because that book raked in horny.
Desperate Housewives.
Horny desperate housewives, yeah, who understand nothing about kink, and think that a kink contract is legally binding. And legal
the movie was terrible. The movie was
terrible. I've never actually seen the movie or the book. Is a contract involved?
I could not.
Yes, she signs a contract stating that she is basically Christian's property.
Listen,
No.
Which is incredibly illegal and would never happen in the.
Well, see, here's the funny thing about that. See, if you go to work in an Amazon fulfillment center, you basically have to sign that paperwork anyways. And you basically become their property at that point. So
yeah, but the woman who wrote it clearly knew nothing about the BDSM community. It's really funny seeing these movies like Eyes Wide Shut, for example,
Never heard
and
of
it's
it.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
where like you see these like BDSM clubs and all that kind of thing, and they're just such exaggerations. Most BDSM clubs, people are just drinking, talking, and being a little bit awkward. It's
Fair
like
enough.
we all know why you're here. Why are we so socially awkward here?
My favorite description and like TV show that kind of did the BDSM stuff like that was on Netflix, and I can't remember what it's called anymore. But they were short, like 15-minute episodes of this guy who became this like dominatrix, like helper.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's so
I
cool.
still need to see that. I've seen the trailer
So
for it.
good.
Yeah, like
So
he
good.
becomes a dominatrix, like assistant. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
Oh
he's
my
like,
god, it was so good. I
Wait.
watched that with my boyfriend, and it was great.
No, I couldn't finish
laughed
50
the whole
Shades
time.
of Grey. I watched like the first half hour and went, nope.
yeah, that was my response. Was just I got like maybe 10 minutes in, remembered everything, and was just like, no, just no.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, the acting wasn't too bad, but you could the director couldn't quite, because I've seen clips and everything. You can tell the actors either disliked what they had to do or really did not get along, which apparently they didn't. Apparently, those two actors despised each other. Um,
Well, if the
which,
thing with movies is if you get two actors who don't have any chemistry and like they can't and they hate each other, you're not gonna get a good reaction from them.
yeah, a lot of people like to say a better love story than uh, than Edward a better love story than Twilight, but the movies, those two actors had chemistry. I think they even started dating for a while, didn't they? But like,
Robert
don't have any
Pattinson and
idea.
Kristen Stewart, I think they did.
yeah, like she wasn't the best in those films. I mean, she was very flat. I've seen her in other things, and she is so much better. Those people did not like being in those movies. Twilight had a fantastic soundtrack, though, um, but they had good chemistry, and that's where I think a lot of things fall flat. Is people don't consider the idea of chemistry, and that the in movies they think, oh, they're actors, they're paid to love each other and get along and all that kind of thing, and that only works to a certain extent, because sure, you've got your actors that can get along and everything. I mean, look at the MCU, the banter and everything. Like, if you look at interviews in the 60s and 70s, there was no banter like that. You wouldn't see actors making, I mean, maybe child actors, but you wouldn't see like the adult actors making fun of each other and stealing the spotlight in an interview. Whereas now, the MCU actors, they're constantly insulting each other. I mean, there's that clip I've seen of Tom Holland, um, where the guy who plays Falcon. I only remember Don Cheadle's name, which is funny because everyone seems to forget Don Cheadle is War Machine. But the actor of Falcon says, "I haven't actually seen Spider-Man," and Tom Holland goes, "Oh, that's okay. I haven't seen your movie either. Oh, wait." And it's just like you wouldn't see that, and that's a new culture that's come out of film, is this sort of, I guess, banterousness between actors and everything, and
The thing is, when a lot of kids look up to these actors, and when they see them doing that, they think it's okay for them to do that.
mm, it, see that
Sometimes.
sometimes that can be a problem, but I don't. It's playful. It's not. None of it's ever done
Maliciously.
malicious. Yeah, none of it's ever done maliciously. We all see these. Um, we all see them doing like all these things and everything. And I mean, kids are influenced by so much, especially with film, because the MCU has become a huge thing. Like, it's crazy how we've seen like superhero movies go from meh, but basically box office poison to the highest grossing movies ever. Now even winning awards like for makeup, for special effects, even best picture nominations. Like seeing that is crazy to think about, and it makes me really happy that something that um, deserved to be built up, deserved to have decent films made of it, is now getting those films because we care now.
Mhm.
So before we started, you guys were having an argument about Austin Powers.
James Bond.
Yeah.
Oh, there was also some Austin Powers mentioning in there.
Yes.
They're fun movies to watch. Like,
They are
not
fun
everything
movies.
like has to be super serious.
Think about terrible parodies. Have you seen Breaking Wind?
No.
Oh, that sounds ridiculous.
It is a really bad Twilight parody. And I mean, Vampire Suck was like decent, but like Breaking Wind is like one of the worst parody movies I've ever seen.
One of my favorite movies like makes fun of the Navy, like the American Navy, and I love it to death. It's Down Periscope. It's so good. It's fantastic.
One of my favorite
In
movies.
In the first 20 minutes, they're sitting in this war room and they're discussing about how they're going to give the main character his own submarine. And the one guy's like, I don't think it's safe to give a man who has "Welcome Aboard" tattooed above his dick a submarine. And it's just, excuse me? Like, it's great, and it's a hilarious movie with a lot of fantastic actors. And like you were talking about chemistry, that movie has a ton of it.
Would it be
fantastic?
So yeah, I'm curious as to. So you said an American. There's Barry Nelson. Yeah, I don't count him. Sorry.
Well, there you go. See, I was technically right.
No, Lily, here's
Best
my question.
kind of right.
Would that be a yellow submarine?
No, it was an old diesel submarine.
How many different versions of Casino Royale have there been?
Too many. They have run out of ideas. Too many.
Oh wow, there was an Indian James Bond.
There's so many
Johnny
movies they run into the ground. Like, granted, the Fast and Furious movies, it goes in and out on which one's good, but there's so many of those.
They're not even about the original premises anymore. It's just cool
cars
doing cool stuff.
Since Fast and the Furious 5, they've stopped trying to be, it has to try to be realistic and dumb. And they've just gone, how out of the top can we get with these crazy car stunts and retarded crap? And that's what they go for now.
Oh, yeah. Like, I can't remember if it's like the last Furious movie, but you know when that car drives out of the building, the red car?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the one before last.
All CG. Everything. The entire scene. It's all CG.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That's because CG for vehicles is like improved, and also the fact that they want to keep their actors safe, because these actors that were in these films were not big name actors originally. They were kind of just small part. Like,
yeah.
Did you know the biggest name from the original ones was Vin Diesel?
Yeah, and that was only because of Pitch Black.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chronicles of Riddick and the Chronicles of Riddick 2.
Speaking of the Riddick
Vin
movies,
Diesel also in like Triple X? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, he was Triple X, but I think the first Fast and Furious came out before Triple X.
I don't know about that. That seems like I gotta Google that now.
But Vin Diesel got the rights to the Riddick movies. Like, he owns the rights to the Riddick movies now. and he got it for like nothing. Because I forget the director that owned the rights to it wanted him to do something, and he's like, I will do it only if you give me the rights to this, and he got it, and so he owns the rights to the Riddick movies now, and he
Yeah.
got it for like I forget what it was. Basically nothing though.
The
All right,
fact,
It's
fair enough.
ridiculous.
The first Fast and the Furious came out in 2001, and Triple X came out in 2002.
See?
Only a
I-
year apart.
the
It only took
Fast,
them a year to film him snowboarding down a mountain and being awkward and horrible with women. So it's all good.
the Fast and the Furious movies are just kind of one example of that beating a dead horse kind of thing.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yes and no.
Okay,
They-
can I? Sorry to cut you off. There is. So I decided to Google Fast and Furious because I remember the Fast and Furious games.
Oh god,
There were games.
yes,
There
there
were
Yeah,
was.
there were. None of them were good.
No.
None of them.
They were basically trying to be Need for Speed.
Except they were Need for Speed with terrible everything.
Yeah. Fast and Furious Live.
Oh god.
In 2018, Universal announced the Fast and Furious Live Tour. It is a group of live shows which combines stunt driving, pyrotechnics, and projection mapping to recreate scenes from the films and perform other stunts. During production, thousands of stunt performers and drivers auditioned and were required to undergo a 4-month training camp if selected. Additionally, parkour athletes and stunts requiring both drivers and parkour practitioners also featured. Fast and Furious Live had 2 preview shows between January 11 to 12, 2018 at Liverpool's Echo Arena before officially beginning a European tour a week later. So,
They decided
When
to
it's-
test it out in Liverpool.
yep. The first official date was January 19th, 2018, London at the O2 Arena.
Okay.
Now, the last 3 dates, which are June 29th, June 30th, and July 1st, were in Paris, and I didn't realise this company, whose hotels I've been going to for years, you may know them, Raven, Accor Hotels.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they own Ibis, Novotel, and near the XL, they own the Sunborn, which is a yacht that's been converted into a hotel, and the Aloft. And the Aloft is really nice, but they do charge you £25 extra every night.
So have you guys ever been to like a Walmart or any other sort of superstore and you see like these big packs of horror movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get them.
No, I can't do horror.
Well,
I'm
I
not,
can.
I'm not good with scary.
Now, here's the thing about these are very crappy movies. Occasionally you get like a good one in there. But I sat down and I was watching these movies. And I have never seen something so terrible in my life. It's called The Cellar Door, and there was like 5 lines of dialogue. And it was just absolutely disgusting. I mean, this dude was collecting his captors' bodily excrements and
Gross.
keeping them in jars, so it was gross.
See, I don't know. So, talking of horror and like gross horror, I've seen The Human Centipede,
Ew.
Ah,
and I don't know if it's just implied that he's doing this, but he cuts the kneecaps. He cuts their kneecaps out so that I guess they can't run. I don't know what the purpose is. And then there's like a scene of him eating. I'm like, is he eating
I
their
don't
knees?
wanna know.
But it's
Well,
just like,
if I'm gonna watch
that's-
a horror movie, I'm gonna watch like the classic ones.
yeah.
So like I could do some Amityville, the Saw movies,
Hammer
Texas
House.
Chainsaw.
Hammer House of Horror. Sorry, but the old Hammer House of Horror movies are fantastic.
The name of
Just
this.
like my problem with horror movies though is every time you see it, they're all the people in it are so stupid. Why would you want to go investigate the house with the crazy axe murderer in it? What? Be like the black guy, run the fuck away. Why would you go into this place? You're an idiot. Just get out.
Well,
Run.
You've got.
What's the point?
I can't remember what movie. It might have been the one that has like the wax museum and everything in it, and they're capturing people. The one where Paris Hilton dies. I cheered when that happened.
I don't know.
Why did you
I know.
cheer when Paris Hilton died?
'Cause she's Paris Hilton. House of Wax.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, I was about to say that. What's that wax movie with the wax music? House of Wax.
The Final Destination movies are good. I'll watch those.
They also have really weird kills.
They do.
What I find hilarious is so Alton Towers has a Saw ride. I can't remember which. I think it might have been Drayton Manor had the Final Destination ride.
Oh gosh.
And I can't like.
I couldn't handle the Tower of Terror at Disney World, so like
Oh Lily.
I don't do well with scary. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Well, then I have a horror movie you might enjoy.
no.
Have you guys ever heard of Maximum Overdrive?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
game.
I love that movie so much.
Dude,
One of my favorite movies of all time.
I could Lily. There is I don't call it horror. Over the top is thriller, but it's called An American Werewolf in London. It's from the 1980s. It is amazing. The ending is sad. The ending is very
It's-
sad.
A Werewolf in London is not a horror at all.
So a lot of people consider it that though. It's a good movie.
But it is. I mean, there's a little bit of body horror with the transformation, but
The thing is, that movie for its time, that werewolf transformation had always been some sort of phasing in different scenes. They were the first people to actually go out and try to do a full-blown werewolf transformation.
yeah.
Because the other best-known werewolf horror movie, or just scary movie at that time, was The Wolfman. Which is junk, by the way.
I have no say in this subject. Do you want to talk about comedy movies? I know quite a bit, and I know a lot about that, but not.
Comedy movies? I can go for some Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
He's not funny.
Grown Ups is hilarious.
Okay, yes, because there's other people in it besides Sandler.
Sandler can be funny. He just needs the right setting to be funny.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore is the right setting for him, and he never should have made anything beyond that.
51st Dates.
Never
I
saw.
liked 51st Dates.
I like that movie.
51st Dates is...
Except if you take a moment and think about it, he is incredibly creepy in that movie with what he does. But still.
Yeah, but, like... So the woman is constantly forgetting him. But it's the fact that he's fallen in love with her, and he is willing to put up with the fact that every day for about an hour he's gonna have to remind this woman who he is. Like,
Yeah, but he takes advantage of that in the beginning.
he does take advantage at the beginning, and then realizes.
So
Well,
I'm sorry,
he's done not so funny movies too. I mean, have you seen Spanglish?
Yeah, Sandler can do dramatic well. Like,
I don't know. Every time I think of Sandler, I think of that horrible movie of like Jack and Jill where he played every part, and I just I
Oh,
can't.
that
I can't
reminded me of
watch
the
it.
Nutty Professor.
oh God.
Eddie
you seen
Murphy's
the
great.
Have you seen the original Nutty Professor?
That
No.
one is great.
The original Nutty Professor is just like, it's a lot more entertaining because one guy doesn't play everything.
Yeah.
and there's a lot more distinction between the characters. It's not here's nervous fat Eddie Murphy and here's cool funny Eddie Murphy. It's here's this nervous, socially awkward, absolute wreck turning into basically a greaser. Because what?
Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. I love that movie. That's
Animated or live action Hercules?
no, I was talking about that part in The Nutty Professor with the mother doing the little clapping thing at the table.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah.
her son flexes, Hercules, Hercules.
Yeah. See, that's another thing to talk about. Is like, remember when Disney was thought of like before they did like Hercules and Aladdin and I'm upset it didn't do well, but Treasure Planet, they were kind of viewed as this company that did, you know, movies for girls like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and all that kind and Cinderella. But then Hercules comes along, and we're given this male role model who, at the start, is this kind-hearted boy. He starts becoming this.
Jock.
Yeah, he becomes a jock. Gets a huge ego from these people praising him, which makes
It's a huge
sense.
ego boner, and then he meets
Yeah.
this girl, and they meet the sassy gay Hades, and it's fantastic.
Sassy gay
He has that
Hades.
sassy gay friend, and he's awesome.
So he's. I just love the line of, "He's different. He's a guy."
See, a lot of people hate that movie, and I don't understand it. Sure, the songs aren't the greatest.
The
And,
songs
you know,
are fantastic. I will fight people on that. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah,
The best world in all of the Kingdom Hearts games. Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3. I can't remember if it
aren't
turns
there
out.
only 3?
Oh,
Please
oh,
don't actually start the
summer
argument. I know
child.
that there's way more. I was just trying to make a joke here. Please don't start on that tangent.
I know, right? But those were the best worlds because James Woods reprised his role as Hades. I think if there's anything I love, if there's one person I love, it is James Woods. Because if you get him to voice in something, he will. He will just straight up like. Well, he won't voice in anything, but if he's voiced in it, he will reprise his role. So he's in all the Kingdom Hearts games, and he is the best. Actually, I don't think he's in all of them, but he's the best part of the ones that he's in. Because I know he's in Birth by Sleep. I know he's in 1, 2, and 3, and
The
I
Just-
actually really like the main female voice actor in Hercules a lot, and I can't remember her name right now.
the
Megara.
I can't remember, but her voice is so unique and awesome, and she just sounds like a badass, and it's great, and it fits the role
Sus-
that she has in
Su-
that movie really well.
Susan Egan, if that's how to pronounce her name, or Egan. She's her voice in that is.
And when she sings, oh my god, is it good? Like when she sings the song "I'm Not in Love" or "Fallen in Love." What's the
Yeah.
title of that one?
I don't know.
The one with the muses going shoo-doo, shoo-doo.
I won't say I'm in love.
Yeah, that one. Like her voice is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
the mentioning
I
of
would
these
kill to have it.
these
But
different.
just those lyrics of "No chance, no way, I won't say it, no, no, it's too
Okay,
cliche,
Mika,
I
me-
won't say it."
You got it. Stop.
Yeah.
It's just,
I just
that's
love
a
the
copyright strike right there. Jeez, Disney is good with that stuff, you know.
The mention of like Aladdin and Treasure Island. Two things came to mind:
Treasure
uh,
Planet. Yeah.
the Journey to the Center of the Earth and Robin
Oh.
Williams. Two
Robin
very,
Williams is a good actor, though.
two
but
very
Journey
different
to the
things.
Center of the Earth was not a good movie.
Really, I loved it.
I will fight you on that.
Good luck. It sits in the same category as me as The Core.
Wait, Robin Williams was in Journey to the Center of the Earth?
No, he wasn't.
No. Journey to the Center of the Earth, that was Brendan
yeah,
Fraser.
and then The Rock was in the second one.
Yes, Journey to the Mysterious Island. I did like how um, they tried to combine the Jules Verne novels and to try and make this like Jules Verne cinematic universe. And I'm really sad that it didn't continue because I am a huge fan of Jules Verne's work. Like we had Journey to the Center of the Earth, Journey to the Mysterious Planet. Years ago, we had 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'd have loved to have seen a modern interpretation of Captain Nemo.
I would love it if they continued the Percy Jackson movies.
They're not good. As
I
compared to the
I
book. They're really
I
bad.
would love, yes, I would love to see that, but I do also agree they are nothing like the
They're
books. But I'm
horrible.
still,
No,
The actors are trash.
I prefer the
They have
books.
Yes.
no personality.
but I do still agree. I would love to see that continue.
Yeah, I like the books more, but
I would love to
What would
see
you-
them like
Oh, Percy
rehash
Jackson.
the series with people
Yeah.
who can act and better CG for fuck's sake.
the
Yeah.
kid who was in
Ugh.
the kid who played Percy Jackson was actually in a movie called Gamer, which is like this really sexualized. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Sounds familiar to me.
It's a really sexualized movie about these people who are taken to prison and they're put out into the world and people control them like the characters. If they escape, they're set free.
I heard about that movie. I wanna
Oh
watch
yeah,
it.
I've seen it.
the
I've seen
the first like 10 minutes is like really bad, but after that it's okay. It's not bad
What
after if you
I-
get past those first 10 minutes.
You know, that's how I would describe like most episodes of Black Mirror. Actually, if you get past the first 10 minutes, it's a cool idea.
Except Bandersnatch was really overrated.
It was really good though. It was nice and subtle, and like
It was
the,
fun.
Okay,
the
as
interaction
as
controls
someone,
wasn't as intrusive as they thought they would be.
no, like that's the thing is like, oh, that's nice. Like,
It was cool for them to do it though.
yeah, it was cool for them to do, but it really disappointed me with everything. It was all hyped up and everything, and then I went on it and I'm like, right, I have a friend who's a game developer, and yeah, it was interesting, and I was like, but you didn't explore it enough. Like, there's so many things that could have been explored with this, and
I just like the bit where you could tell him that you're Netflix. I found that really funny, actually.
what is
You
Netflix?
tell him you're Netflix. The fuck is Netflix? And the guy has a mental breakdown, and you can make him jump off of out of a balcony.
Oh
It was fun.
god.
I like
It's cool.
I like when you see the cousin from Narnia's eyes bulge out.
I wish
What is
they'd
the name of
continue that too.
What, Narnia?
Yes.
The movie was pretty good, actually. The first one, I rather enjoyed it.
Or maybe Pitch Perfect. Although
Uh,
I'm on the line on that one because I feel like if they continue it, they're gonna run it into the ground.
Do you know there's a secret ending to Bandersnatch where the author of the book kills you?
What?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you get that one?
You choose. It's not that difficult, but at the same time, it's like so ridiculous. The author just flat out kills you.
Hot damn.
What I find interesting is you always want the correct ending. You wind up in prison because the dog.
Oh well, okay.
That's some great foreshadowing because you have this thing where the dog is constantly digging up the dad's flowers, and you realize
Mhm.
how dumb the kid is because he hides the body there. It's like,
Yeah. But it was still cool. It was really cool that they did that. They shot 10 hours of footage to do that. In the
Yeah.
end, right? Like that was the total amount of footage they had was 10 hours, and it was really cool to see it all. And it really felt like the old Choose Your Own Adventure books that I read when I was younger and stuff. And it was cool.
Mm.
Do I think they should spend however millions they spent on it to do it again? I don't know. But I'm happy that they did what they did because it was really fun to go through.
and it had a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah, it was cool.
But I think, as someone who knows what computer gaming was like in the 80s, has a friend who's a game developer and everything, it kind of fell flat in a few places for me. Not that it was bad, it was really well acted, really well written, and everything, but I feel that they kind of shortchanged us with some of the decisions and everything. It's like, I wanted to see more of what would have happened if I chose that bad
Yeah,
decision.
but like you also have to understand that's also extra writing time and extra filming and extra editing and
More money.
programming, and it's a lot of effort to put in one choice in a game, right?
Yeah,
You have to understand that. So they had to sit there. They probably had hundreds of choices, right? They probably had this huge complicated tree, and then they had to go, what can we pick? What makes sense? What can we film? We have
it
to
did.
slim it down.
It did make me miss those games that I've played, those old like point and click adventure games, those old choose your own adventure games. Like, can we get those back, please?
No,
Can we
because
have a
microtransaction laden multiplayer games are the way of the future. Nobody wants a single player game anymore, EA.
Well,
can we
EA
have
has a
another
single-player
Monkey
game.
Island?
EA has a single player game and it's called The Sims.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but that's still filled with microtransactions.
Yep.
You know what game I'm super excited to come out?
Is it Cyberpunk 2077?
Yes, but not the game I was talking about just
Oh,
now.
okay.
But yes, I'm also excited. But no, the remaster of Warcraft 3. It's one of my favorite games of all times.
But they haven't remastered 1 and 2. Why are they doing 3?
Because 3 is the most popular one.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean,
I never
3
really got into that style of game, though.
is before World of Warcraft, but
What about
Yeah.
what about games that
Warcraft-
have become movies? Look at Silent Hill.
I'm surprised that there are certain games that haven't become movies. Silent Hill, I really like. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's nothing like the game," and it's like, yeah,
'Cause
that's
it's a
why they're
game.
good.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah, the
Shots
games
fired.
the games were a little
fact that
rough.
the fact that they take the core concept of the game of, hey, want to go to a place that makes all your sins manifest a form, and every mistake you've ever made in your life is going to try and kill you. They got that down to a T. Like, the fact that it wasn't James, the fact that it wasn't, all these different things, I'm fine with. Now, yeah, I'm with everyone of the whole thing with Pyramid Head of, oh, he's just become an icon. He was supposed to be a representation of James's lust and all these kind of things, and regret and all these different things. He is James's personal warden and punisher, but he's become iconic. He became iconic from that game, so he became much like the nurses, a Silent Hill citizen, as it were, because there are certain creatures in Silent Hill that represent all fears. And the way they reworked Pyramid Head for the movie, and actually something I really like that my friend didn't pick up on until the second reviewing was when they're going through a certain area, you see a huge fan spinning slowly, and if you look carefully, you see it's got a blade missing. Pay careful attention to Pyramid Head as he walks.
And then, besides the Silent Hill movies, Assassin's Creed, Warcraft,
Assassin's Creed's got one
Rampage,
movie. Warcraft deserves a sequel.
Resident
Warcraft is
Evil,
really good.
the Need for Speed
Res-
movies, Tomb Raider.
There were Need for Speed movies? Wait, what?
There was one.
Yeah, there are Need for Speed.
There was a Need for Speed movie, and let's
Yeah,
not
that's
talk about
probably the
It's-
better way to put it.
It's exactly like the Fast and the Furious game.
It
The Need for
li-
Speed movie tried to be Fast and the Furious. Fast and
Yeah.
the Furious game tried to be Need for Speed.
So Need for Speed came out not long after the Fast and Furious movie, and was basically like, well, we've been making these games with okay stories for years. Let's try and make a movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't work.
No, along that same line is the Super Mario Brothers movie and the Doom movie. Did you ever
Uh,
see those?
You're
I
forgetting
have
one.
seen the Doom movie.
Angry
Oh, they're so
Birds.
bad.
The Angry Birds movie.
Okay, actually, I
Okay,
found
that
the
is actually
animation
really
super
funny.
charming in that one.
So
The
I
the
watched-
animation is adorable.
I never said the animation
in
was.
that movie is really good, but the writing is terrible.
Yeah.
My favorite joke in that film is the bird that the huge bird. I can't remember his name. Is it Terrence? And it's
Yeah.
just
The wrong person.
and it's just like, and Terrence, and she's looking at his file, and it slow zooms on his face, and all we hear is like screams and police sirens, and then she just goes, "Had an accident." It's just like, okay,
Wow,
then.
holy shit.
On the level of animated movies, the most recent animated movie.
And we never find out what he did.
The most recent animated movie that's come out that has had so much bashing is the Emoji Movie.
Oh, it
Oh,
was so
I
bad.
thought you were going to.
It was bad. I watched it. It was bad.
The latest animated movie that came out that's gotten a lot of bashing, which is The Lion King.
That's not animated this time though.
It is
That's CG.
animated.
It's
No, it's
CGI. But I
It's
mean,
animated.
I didn't go see that one. I wanted to go see that one.
No, I would count animation as more of like you can see where lines are drawn. CG is like blending the lines between realistic and
Okay,
what can be computer
so-
generated.
So, question: what is Toy Story?
Toy Story
It's
is
animated.
CGI.
Oh, I call
Right.
that animated.
It's
No,
an
that's
animated.
CGI.
Then why is Pixar called Pixar Animation?
Because they did that, but they've done
Because
other
they
movies.
can.
Speaking,
Yeah, they've done other stuff.
Speaking
But
of
it's
Toy
animation.
Story, there's another
Like
Toy Story
the
movie
thing of
coming out.
animation is that animation. Lily, that would be like calling stop motion animation not animation. It's animation. Animation is taking something that isn't alive, that isn't able to fully be on screen, and giving it life. So CGI, stop motion, hand drawn, these are all forms of animation, and animation has served such a big part in culture. I mean, look at the UK, for example. We've got Aardman, who gave us Wallace and Gromit. And
Okay, yeah, no, I understand that,
Chicken
but to
Run.
me at least, there's a divide. To me, animation for me still presides over the old rules of it looks animated. If something is too silky smooth to me, it automatically falls into the category of CG, where it falls under different rules of how you analyze it, right? Because
So-
animation, you can go in and you can look at it and you can see, oh, here's where I can tell where they drew the lines or how they did stuff. So like the classic Disney movies are animated. I don't think there's anything modern that has truly been animated to me, because animation is an old style of doing things.
But
I consider
animation.
CG to be something completely different.
So Pixar, right? They don't use motion capture for their films. That is all puppets with rigs, and their limbs have to be controlled by algorithms and all this kind of thing, and slowly moved and everything. I mean, think about Source Filmmaker animation or Gary's Mod animation, where you're moving the figures, individual facial features, their hands, arms, fingers, everything about them is being moved in certain ways. And a lot of people, and the fact that you say that isn't animation, but it's still frame by frame, it still has to be voice acted for.
Lily, when you say CGI, I think of the Green Lantern movies or Avatar. Avatar is completely CGI.
When you
Except
say-
for a few key scenes, actually.
Oh yeah, that's
When
right.
you say CGI, I think of the cave troll from Lord of the Rings. I think Fellowship of the Ring. I think of Gollum. I think of the Hulk.
When you
That
say
sort of thing.
guy, I think of the Scorpion King and the Rock.
Okay, but you should be thinking of CGI as every single modern Marvel movie, all of
Yeah.
Disney's new stuff,
DC
everything all falls
movies.
under this category of CGI now because it's so cheap to do, right? So my point simply is not that it isn't animation, but I like to use the word animation as to refer to the older way of doing things.
But
Yeah.
you're
So I
saying
think we need to
you're
take
saying that a Pixar movie isn't an animated movie when it is.
no because it
Yes.
doesn't follow the old rules of
She
doing.
said, Lily's saying that it is an animated movie, but she uses the word animation to mean not necessarily exactly what animation means, but as a classification of something,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So like, anything that was started as a hand drawing and then was ported over to a computer to do the more high end, more fluid style of animation. I still consider that animation because somebody had to sit down and draw it all.
Okay, so things like um, the castle in Beauty and the Beast, the planets in Treasure Planet, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that I consider those to be animation,
All the
right? But I'm thinking all
And
modern
CG
movies, we
is-
need to have a new classification. We need to recognize that these are all CGI things as opposed to the old way of doing animation.
Well,
They're still
that's why they're
animated.
called CGI animated movies. The
Yeah.
Whereas a movie that has CGI for, let's say, Iron Man's armor is, live action with CGI, because you still see an actual actor there as well as the armor.
Yeah, but the backgrounds aren't real and none of the effects are real. So I see that
Actually,
as a CG
all the
movie
backgrounds
with actors in it, not the other way
all the
around.
backgrounds in the MCU are real.
Well, not all.
Most.
Yes, they are technically real. Yes, they took filming crews to that location, but none of the actors are acting on location
Expanded.
because
Yeah.
that's too difficult to do. It's much cheaper to build a plywood set, cover it with green paint, than it is to fly all the actors and all of the crew out to film there.
But if you look at behind the scenes shots for certain things, if they're in a building that did have a location, but then the building is like mostly destroyed, then they'll move it to a CG set and such. So,
Or, as most often the case, because it's cheaper, they'll recreate the building so that they can just destroy it.
yeah, I do like miniatures just being
So
blown
cool.
the hell up.
Right? It's awesome. There's so many cool things in filmmaking, but
Yeah.
I just classify things slightly differently because I have a different perspective on things, right? I think we've entered this new age where CG is on everything. So we need to start a new classification for everything that is CG.
What I find funny is there's a lot of argument about CG versus practical effects, and a lot of people say, "Oh, practical effects would have been so much cheaper here." And I'm like,
No.
do you know how much an animatronic costs? I get it, you want that, but do you know how much an animatronic costs?
Yeah.
Look at the budget for Lord of the Rings. Those, like, Treebeard was an animatronic, and he cost so much.
Yeah.
And
think
then what
one
do
of
they
my-
do with them after the movie's done?
Put them in a storage container. Or try to sell them off. It depends.
Yeah, but the answer though is they're typically never seen again.
Yeah. One of my favorite practical shots in the entire movie industry is from the movie The Blues Brothers when they're running away from all the cops and they crash in that intersection.
Yeah.
That was done. They actually crashed that many cop cars. It's so cool and it's so well done. I love it. It's
One of
great.
my favorite practical effects of all time is from RoboCop. When that giant robot thing starts shooting up that one guy, just absolutely lights him up and obliterates him. Every single one of those shots, that like when you see the guy get shot and everything, that's all practical effect. And so
yeah,
what?
using what are they? I'm trying to remember.
With
Yeah, squibs. But
and the guy The guy
They
was
improved it with spaghetti.
yes, because they shot it the first time. They put like hundreds of squibs on this guy. A lot of them centered around his private area. That's supposed to be part of the joke. Um, and so they do all that, and the guy's like, it felt like I was repeatedly kicked in the nuts. And
Yeah,
so, but then the director was like, that's not real enough. So they filled him up with spaghetti. They put all those squibs back on him, and the guy sat there and did it a second time and went through all of that a second time just for it to be more realistic, and it's amazing.
yeah, and the fact they loaded spaghetti in as well, so that they'd have things just flying
Hmm.
out. Oh
Also,
no.
a lot of people don't realize that the RoboCop movie is technically like it's like a parody. It's not an actual action movie. It's making fun of
Yeah, a lot
action
of people
movies.
don't realize it's satire.
Yeah,
So
that's the word
I
I'm thinking. Thank you.
I am really hoping that this poster's fake, but I've just seen a poster for Disney Plus original. Disney Lady and the Tramp.
Well, it's real.
So, if you guys were going to be stranded on an island, what movie would you watch? Like, you could only want to watch one movie.
How to build a boat.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay, let me ask this a different way. If you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Lord of the Rings: Return of the King Extended Edition.
Oh yeah, so you'd only ever have to watch it once, and then you would die by the time the movie's over, right?
I have marathoned those movies.
I mean, I can go for like some Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hmm.
Everybody grows silent.
Thinking. I don't know. I have too many movies that I like to say. Uh, can I download the entire content of YouTube as a movie and watch that?
Technically, I didn't say you couldn't.
But then that, because that would have everything on it.
I don't know. See, I like too many different movies
Yeah, that's my
to like
problem.
properly pick one.
I do too, but it's something I never get tired of. So,
Like, if you were to say what decade of movies would you always want to sit there and watch? Like, if you could only pick from a decade, I'd say the 80s.
Yeah, I'd
Just
probably
so much
say the
funny
same.
shit in the 80s,
80s movies are great.
right? Like,
They're so
Police
ridiculous.
Academy is hilarious. So is Stripes and Sergeant Bilko, and like, there's so many good movies from the 80s.
I didn't know that Police Academy had like 10 movies.
I only watched the first one. It's the only good
That's there's like 10 of them.
They beat that one too far.
Oh my
They hit
God.
that one into the ground.
Also,
one. Very much did.
going back to Fast and the Furious for a second. Once they get to the 10th movie, that's it. They're not making any more movies.
What number are they
Which
on?
one?
They on 8?
They're 8 is the next one coming out. Yes.
7 was crap.
7 wasn't bad.
You,
Uh,
I thought it was pretty crappy.
I liked it. But yeah,
Joel-
8 and 9 are the last two ones. They might have spin-offs and stuff. Like I know they're coming out with, they have Hobbs and Shaw coming out.
I really want to see that because that looks
That
great.
does.
Also, Idris Elba as a villain just screams yes.
Yeah. Also, and I forget which Fast and Furious movie it is, but when Hobbs and Shaw are in the prison and they're working their way out, they specifically put that entire scene in there to set up a partnership between the two that it's possible specifically for this movie. They're also coming out with a all-female cast of a Fast and Furious spin-off movie. They're coming up with a Fast and Furious TV show.
Okay,
But
here's
as far as mainline movies for the series go, it ends with 10. They're not gonna have any more mainline movies.
here's the problem when feminists get in the way, and you pull off an all-female cast. Now, granted, the Ghostbusters, new Ghostbusters, you got hit quite a bit. I liked it. I thought it was funny.
It was bad.
I liked it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. It's honestly not going to be any different at all because all the women in Fast and the Furious are just as capable, if not shown to be more capable in those movies
Then the guys
than the
are,
men are.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is something I appreciate about those films is they're made the women are made to look sexy and everything, but at the same time they're also like competent. 'Cause
Yeah.
they are like track girls, which the whole sexiness and everything. It's just like you know, here's a here's a hot woman who can also kick your ass, outdrive you, and so much more.
Yeah, and the movies, and like the Ghostbusters movie was great for that, but they just weren't funny. It wasn't up to the same quality that the original Ghostbusters was. Like the
original
CG was crap.
The original Ghostbusters were great. I just thought the new Ghostbusters was funny.
The new Ghostbusters angered me not because it was a female cast, but like they were like, oh, let's make the secretary dumb. But why though? Like she was shown to be just as smart and competent as the guys. You're not making a parallel of, hey, here's subverting expectations. If you see a secretary in a movie, she's usually some dumb ditzy girl, so let's do it to the guy instead. Did you watch the movie? I don't think you did.
But Kevin was great.
I also just found they let Melissa McCarthy spend too many minutes riffing, and though she's great, she needs to slow down. She's in too many movies now.
Have you seen The
Melissa
Heat?
McCarthy
Made her funny.
If you've seen The
McCarthy
Heat,
is great, but she is getting into that burnout phase of
Exactly,
we
the
love
Nick
you,
Cage
but
area.
honey, yeah,
She's
love
entering
you,
the
but
Nick
honey,
Cage
you're in
zone.
Too much. Yeah.
the Life of the Party wasn't too bad. I thought it was funny on some levels.
Actually, my favorite movie with Melissa McCarthy in it was the one where she was actually really good in the one with the Muppets, where she was like the police officer with the Muppets.
I haven't seen that
was
one. I
so
want to
good.
so bad.
That's not the Muppets. That's not made by Jim Henson.
No, that's a Muppet spin-off.
Yeah, but okay, but they kind of look like the Muppets, and they still have all of the iconic characters that are
What
in the
is that called? It's like the line
Happy
for it
Time
was,
Murders.
it was all street, no sesame. Like,
No, it's happy. It's called the
But it wasn't
Happy Time.
based off of Sesame Street.
Happy
It was
Time
based
Matters, I
off of
think.
the Muppets.
Yeah.
But it was so good. That movie was so funny. I loved
The
it.
Heat was really funny. I liked that movie with her and crap, what's her name? Sandra Bullock.
That one was also really good. Like, Melissa McCarthy is a good actor and she's a funny person, but like the directors need to rein her in sometimes because she just rambles for too long by herself with a lot of silence around her, and that's not funny.
You should see her SNL skits. Saturday Night Live.
I know what SNL is. Calm down. Just because I'm Canadian doesn't mean I don't know anything.
They're funny.
Lies and slander.
Hey. Okay, so we at one point here in Canada had a version of SNL before SNL started called SCTV. And I'm so sad that it's disappeared off the internet. Like, I can't find it anymore. And it's sad because it had, like, Rick Moranis in it. And he did this great bit with another actor who I can't remember called The Great White North, where they all put on stereotypical Canadian accents and talked about maple syrup and whiskey. And it was great.
Did they say a boot?
Yeah, no, they did. And they went, oh, hey there, eh? All right there, bye. What's up
Lily,
there?
you sometimes say a boot.
No, I don't. You just hear a
You
boot
do.
because that's what you want to hear.
No,
from me. I say it
we've
better.
had.
I mean, you do say it sometimes, but very rarely.
Yeah, we have had it once. The video should be uploaded where you said that. I can't remember which one it was.
Well, it wasn't a D&D one, because...
No, it was either. I'm not sure which one it would have been. Because you want in the one, because I think the most recent one that I posted was IDK. That's probably the one it's in. But the one prior to that was Harley Queens, and you want in that one.
I don't know.
We tore Ray apart for
Yeah, but he didn't say Harley Quinn. He said Harley Queen.
Well, I don't know.
We tore
She's a
him
crazy
up. She is a sexy, crazy bitch, though.
But see, that's another thing with superhero films is a lot of people like to riff on the DC films and go, "Oh, they're so bad." I'm like,
They are.
there's like DC have never made a good movie, and all I start doing is humming and just going.
Wait, this is DC. Hold up. Don't actually hum the song.
So,
But it's just like they're like, oh, DC's never made a good movie. Please go look at 1989 Batman. Please go look at Christopher Reeve Superman. Wonder Woman.
The last kind of movie / TV series I want to mention before we close off for today, Farscape.
Farscape was fantastic. I loved it.
no,
It was
he-
so good.
Firefly.
Pretty much.
The Farscape's
Farscape was
problem
good.
was the actors were good, but that first season the writers had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, it was
But after the
The
first
character
season,
designs were fantastic.
Chiana,
right. It was such a unique universe where there weren't that many humans, unlike Star Trek.
Chiana was gorgeous. There was some attraction there with Chiana.
What?
Right, and the
I'm
best
trying to
part is
remember
that,
the
the two
villain.
main characters from
Scorpius?
Farscape also played in Star Trek.
Scorpius, yeah.
Stargate.
Like the kind of villain, not villain sort of guy. He was really interesting, but he looked like a gimp.
Oh, but
That's a burn.
Like, tell me this man doesn't look like a gimp.
yeah, that's pretty hard to. He also kind of looks like Davros. Let's be honest here. If you take away the head mask and stick him in a chair, he looks like
But
Davros.
honestly, I thought John Crichton and Chiana would have hooked up eventually. Chiana is a great spacelet.
Okay, yeah, but then if you go and watch Stargate, they actually do some things, if I remember correctly, in Stargate. Because they both become main characters in Stargate, SG-1.
Chiana and John Crichton.
Yeah. Not as those characters, but the same actors.
So
went
Gigi
over to
Edgley and whoever plays John.
Yeah.
See, this is one of the reasons I love Scorpius, and if we can put this in the episode, please. Like,
Why is he in a white shirt?
I am
This makes me want to go find Farscape again and watch it all.
I am saving this
Scorpius.
now. I'm saving this now.
Scorpius is such a fantastic.
I came here for the party.
You said there was a party.
Yeah, I just saved it. That is
I
going
brought
in.
my fun guy shirt.
I bought my chaotic neutral shirt and had some whiskey.
That shirt, I hate that shirt so much.
And
Vodka martini, please. Pina colada.
Give me
And-
that Caesar.
oh my god.
He looks like he would drink a Caesar.
And
He looks like he'd make a mean mojito.
Or
And-
he
But,
straight
but-
butt chugs tequila,
but-
and that's why he needs the suit.
oh my
But
gosh.
before we finish the episode, I have a question for you all. How do Reavers clean their spears?
I don't know.
By running them through the wash.
Yeah.
And on that note, we will we will see you guys next week
Oh no.
with another topic Tuesday.
Poor Wash.
Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.